Once upon a time, there lived a just king. One day, a wicked nobleman dethroned him and seized the kingdom. The defeated king was imprisoned. Unfortunately, the wounded king soon succumbed to his injuries. Fortunately, the queen managed to escape. She ran blindly into the nearby forest, carrying her baby daughter in her arms. Soon she was lost. She wondered aloud.
Oh, what do I do now? It is so cold and dark. Where do I go from here? I guess I have no choice but to move on.
So the queen walked on. Much later, she discovered a little thatched hut. She went ahead and knocked on the door. The door was opened by a dwarf. Unfortunately, exertion caught up with her, and before she could explain anything, she fell and sadly passed away after handing the baby over to the dwarf. Being kind, the dwarf took pity and decided to bring the little girl up as if she were his own child. She was named Marianna because the day her mother brought her to the hut, she was carrying a golden heart-shaped locket with a crown and the letter M upon it with diamonds. Marianna grew up to become a lovely young girl. 17 years passed. One morning, a little yellow bird flew into their house and presented the dwarf a letter.
Who is it from?
The letter is from the Emperor of the Elves, who wants me to attend a meeting.
But why do you look so worried?
Because mortals aren't allowed there. How can I leave you alone here?
Don't worry. Give me a crystal flask of the water of healing, and I shall explore the world until it is time for you to return again. Perhaps I will find somebody who can tell me the meaning of this locket or the history of my mother.
With a heavy heart, the dwarf agreed. After giving Marianna the said flask, the dwarf left while Marianna left to explore. Marianna went to various cities and towns where she came across many helpless and sick people, rich and poor, on whom she took pity and took steps by curing them all with the water of healing. However, the mystery surrounding her locket remained unsolved. One day, Marianna was walking through a village when a ragged old woman tearfully approached her.
Please, come with me. I need your help.
Extremely touched, Marianna followed her to a hamlet, where, in a hut, lying on a bed, was a beautiful young peasant girl.
She is dying of a fever. Please cure her. I will be glad to help in any way I can.
Then she touched the girl with the water of healing. Instantly, the peasant girl became well and strong.
Thank you. You're very kind. I am forever indebted to you.
Just then, Marianna heard a bird's faint chirping sound. As she looked in that direction, she saw a little yellow bird crouching on the hearthstone crying pitifully. It was the yellow bird which had brought the message to her father. She bent down and picked him up in her hands.
Poor little bird. Why are you crying? Did someone harm you?
But the bird only uttered a forlorn little cry.
I found him yesterday. His wings seemed to be broken. I will cure you, dear.
Then Marianna touched the wounded wing of the bird with the water of healing. Scarcely had she done so, the yellow bird flapped its wings joyfully.
Oh, you're fine now, little sweet pea.
Then Marianna took leave of the peasant girl and she left. The yellow bird sat on her shoulder and decided to go along. Soon Marianna came to a land of fields, little hills, and rivers bordered with pale willow trees.
This place is breathtaking.
Unknown to Marianna, this was part of her father's kingdom. While Marianna had been in the forest, the wicked nobleman had died, leaving his cruel brother Garabin in charge of the kingdom and his little son, Prince Desire. But Garabin was always overcome with a fear that he would be compelled to give up the throne someday to the prince. So when the prince turned 20, Garabin decided to do away with him. But since he feared the wrath of the people, he decided to do it on the sly. So Garabin went to a magician and stated his purpose.
I want you to affect Desire with a mysterious malady which no medicine can ever cure.
The magician nodded and laughed cruelly. As a result, Desire found himself slowly becoming weaker and weaker. One day, the captain of the castle guard came to Garabin. Marianna, the girl with the gift of healing, has come to this kingdom. Maybe we should seek her help in saving the prince. Reluctantly, Garabin agreed. Marianna, along with the yellow bird sitting on her shoulder, was led to him by 2 guards. The golden locket which she wore about her neck instantly caught Garabin's attention. He recognized it instantly as one of the crown jewels and therefore concluded that Marianna must be the missing princess and the rightful queen of the kingdom. He felt shocked and disturbed.
If I refuse to let Marianna help the prince, that will arouse everyone's suspicion. But if I allowed Marianna to cure the prince will ascend the throne. But Marianna's right is superior even to his nephews to ascend the throne.
Befuddled, Garabin decided to seek the help of the cruel magician again, and hence goes to his place. The magician listened to Garabin. Then he set forth his idea.
Do not fear. I will destroy both claimants to the throne at once. Tonight, I shall cast a spell of sleep on Marianna, steal the flask, empty it of the water of healing, and refill it with a liquid which will cause severe sickness within a few hours. I will then replace the flask with a mysterious potion before Marianna wakes up. Let Marianna visit the prince. When she touches him with the mysterious potion, the prince will get severely sick. You can then try Marianna for having made the prince severely sick and condemn her to be thrown from the precipice.
Garabin was now euphoric. That night, the magician refilled the flask and left. Unknown to him, the yellow bird observed his actions and followed the magician to note where he hid the real water of healing. The next morning, Marianna was once more led before the king.
My dear nephew, Prince Desire, has been ill for some months from a malady which no physician could cure. I am hoping perhaps you could cure him with the water of healing.
Oh dear! I will do my best to save the prince.
So, Marianna was escorted to the prince's room by Garabin and his retinue. Desire lay in an old-fashioned bed, his face flushed with fever. A great pity swept over Marianna's heart the instant she saw him. As for Desire, he fell madly in love with Marianna at first sight. As Marianna bent over the prince to touch his forehead with the water of healing, the yellow bird screeched wildly. As soon as she did so, due to the poisonous water, the prince turned pale and fell back on the pillows insensible. Everyone was deeply shocked, Marianna terrified at what had happened. Let fall the flask, which broke into 1,000 pieces.
Capture her! She has killed the prince!
Rough Hand seized Marianna and the yellow bird and tossed them both into the prison. At the trial, Marianna was condemned to be thrown from the precipice as the physicians declared that the prince was severely sick and the bird was to be caged by the hands of a cook. Thankfully, the cook's helper was the same peasant girl whom Marianna had saved. The girl recognized the yellow bird and decided to set it free by letting it fly out of the window. Chirping happily, the yellow bird flew out. An hour later, Marianna, weighted down with chains, was led to a cliff by some soldiers, Garabin, magician, and Garabin's retinue. Roused by the bell, the prince dragged himself to the window. "Stop! Stop!" And then he fainted on the floor. Meanwhile, the yellow bird had returned to the magician's chamber, which was empty, and found the phial which contained the water of healing. Clutching it in his claws, the bird flew once more to the prince's room. Desire still lay in a heap by the window when, from above, the yellow bird poured the contents of the phial. The prince sprang up, strong as a lion, seized his sword, and rushed down to save Marianna. The prince arrived at the cliff, just as Marianna was about to be pushed off. "Free her! I command you!" Garabin's rage knew no bounds.
Seize them! Toss them both over the precipice!
But before that there came a flash of flame, and the dwarf took his place beside the lovers.
Cruel Garabin, and you, the wicked and perfidious magician! The time for your punishment has come!
Immediately the sky grew black, a bolt of lightning crashed, and there arose a terrible howling wind. 3 giant gusts drove fiercely by, the first one blowing the king and the magician head over heels over the precipice, the second carrying away the soldiers, and the third the sycophantic retinue. Then the sky cleared and peace prevailed.
Marianna, the Emperor of the Elves, has told me all your history, and it is thanks to him that I have returned in time. You, Marianna, are the rightful queen of this country.
Dear queen, I am the first of your subjects.
No, you are still my valiant prince.
The yellow bird gave out a happy chirp in agreement. So Desire and Marianna were married and lived happily ever after.